Hello soulmates, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is BGB Ways. If this is your first time here, you are welcome. Please like this video and subscribe so you get notified anytime I post a new tutorial. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful top you saw on the thumbnail. This tutorial is beginner friendly, but the top has a little modification which makes it even more beautiful. If you love creating beautiful outfits like this, then keep watching and let's sew this beautiful top together. So for this blouse, I'm going to be using about 2 yards of fabric while I have all the equipment that I need for this. So I'm going to start by drafting my basic bodice. If you don't know how to draft a basic bodice, I'm going to drop a tutorial on that. So I've gone ahead to rule out all my measurements and I'm going to start imputing my body measurement here. I'm going to start with the bust, but I'm going to start measuring it on the bust point and not just on the chest line. So I'll measure my bust divided by 4. I'm going to add 1 inch for ease, then 1.5 for sewing allowance. So my bust is 38. That's 38 divided by 4 is 9.5 plus 1, then plus 1.5. I did the same thing on the waist, then I repeated the same thing on the hips, on the hip line, which is also my blouse length. So I connected them together like this. I connected them together on the sewing allowance line, then I did the same thing on the main measurement line. Please don't forget that I said that you are going to start your bust measurement on the bust point, then you repeat whatever you have there on the chest line. You join it together before you now join your measurement to your waistline. So the next thing I did was to come down by 1 inch on the shoulder line, and then I measured my neckline, which is 3 by 3, which is the standard. Then what I did here is that I connected them together. I also went ahead to use a marker to outline this so that it will be visible for you to see. Then I'll go ahead to cut my pattern paper, as you can see me do. So one tip that I use is that I ensure that I have a different scissors for fabric and a different one for my paper. If you use your fabric scissors to cut your paper, over time your scissors is going to get blunt and you don't want this to keep happening to you. After cutting out my pattern, the next thing I did was to place this pattern on the fabric I'm going to be using, and I'm going to cut out the front piece. Just ensure that you add sewing allowance to the neckline and to the armhole line, but I'm not going to be adding any allowance to my blouse length because it was already long, so I wanted it to be a bit shorter. But I added allowance to the armhole line and also to the upper part of the top. So I'm also gonna head to cut out my back pattern. I decided to cut them separately, but you can cut them together because they are still the same thing. It's after cutting that we are going to start measuring out our neckline. So for the back, what I did here was that I measured 3 inches by 1 inch, and then I connected them together like this. But I later changed my mind about the kind of neckline I wanted for the back. So I wanted the back to have a wide opening. So after cutting out this 3 inches by 1 inch, I went back to make it wider. I wanted that back part to be wider. So what I now did was that I measured about 7 inches. I already had 1 inch there, so I placed my tape on that 1 inch side. I removed that 1 inch, so I then measured 7 inches, as you can see me do like this. So the back is kind of wide, it's about 7 inches, and I didn't just measure v-neck, I ensured that it was wide because I wanted it to be a little bit wide. So that's what you can see me do. I'm measuring that 7 inches, then I'm going to cut it out. I've also gone ahead to cut my lining. As you can see here, the lining is under that top, so I'm cutting them together. And then for the front piece, I also, after drafting on the pattern, I removed the paper, as you can see what I'm doing here. Then I'm also going to measure 3 inches as the wideness of my top. Then, because the front has a v-neck, so I'm going to decide how deep I want my neckline to be. So here I used 8 inches here as the depth of my neckline. So after making a v-neck, as you can see here, I'm now going to measure 1 inch. I'm going to trace out 1 inch. As you can see here, the measurement you can see here is 1 inch. 1 inch from the center to the neckline. So I'm going to connect them like this. This is because we are going to add something to the front, which is going to be 1.5. So we'll cut out 1 inch, then we'll replace it with 1.5. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm going to cut it out, and we already have the neckline for the front like this. So I will also go ahead to add lining to the front part. So this is me tracing out the lining to match the neckline that I already created for the front piece. So you just have to secure this with a pin. Why are we using a pin? So that our fabric will not shift, and so that we can have a very accurate result by the time we are done cutting. The next thing we are working on is the sleeves. So I decided how long I want my sleeves to be. Here, the sleeves is about 22 inches, but I later changed my mind and I made it shorter. But before then, I folded my fabrics into 4, as you can see here, and here I have about 11 inches wide. So I made a cuff here. Just look at what I'm doing. I made a cuff here to draft out the armhole of the sleeves. I connected it together, and then I also decided how I want the sleeves to be. Just look at what I'm doing here. So after cutting out the sleeves, there's a design at the side of the sleeves. So I'm just going to make a little cuff here and join it to the side and cut it like this. So here I've reduced the length of the sleeves because I wanted it to be a bit shorter than what I originally did. So then I made that design, and I want just the way I want that part to be. I'm also going to notch the center of my sleeves. So the next thing I did was to cut out the fabric I'll be needing for the front, for that front joining, and also for my belts. And the back also has a rope which I used to tie the neck together, so I'm going to be cutting it out. For the front piece, what I did here was 4 inches, so that when it is unfold, it's going to be 2 inches. 2 inches unfold, half inch will be used for sewing allowance, and by the time I'm done, I'm going to have 1.5 inch on that front piece. So that's what I did here. I'm cutting 4 inches for that, and I'm cutting 2 pieces, even though I eventually used 1 piece because the fabric was long enough to cover both of them. So I'll be cutting 4 inches. And for my belts, the top has a belt at the waist, which is what is used to snatch the waist. For the belt, I cut out 5 inches for the belt. So by the time I fold this, it's going to give me 2.5, which with half inch allowance, I'll be left with 2 inches wideness for the belt. So this is the belt I'm cutting. I'm using 5 inches for the belt. Then after reeling out the belt, the tiny rope that I used at the neckline of the back, I cut it out as well. I used 1.5 for this, so that by the time I'm done, I'll be able to fold this, and I will still have enough, about half inch of wideness by the time I'm done. So I'm measuring 1.5 now for the rope. I also cut 2 pieces for this one, but I eventually used 1 piece for the rope, while the other piece served as what I used for my bow, because I placed a bow at the front of the top. So the other piece is what I used to secure my bow and to make that beautiful design at the front of the bow. So after I was done cutting everything, I packed them together so that I won't lose any piece. As I'm getting ready to start sewing, I packed them together, and I used 1 random rope out of the fabric to tie them together. This is very important, especially if you're not sewing immediately. It will help you so that you won't lose any piece of the fabric and you will keep it. So I headed over to my sewing machine and I started sewing this. The first thing I did was to sew the lining piece to the main fabric. So I used my sewing machine to secure it, and this is the back. I'm turning the back. I'm using the lining to turn the back piece because this is very important. So I'm going to be using half inch to sew these parts of the fabric. It is after sewing that I attached the rope. Remember I said that there's a rope at the back, so I attached the rope after sewing it, after turning that part of the fabric. This is what the front looks like after attaching that 1.5 piece that I cut out, and this is the fabric that I used in making the bow design. This is the final result of the top. It's very beautiful and nice, and this is what the back looks like with the rope. Thank you very much for watching to the end. This will be the end of the tutorial. If you have any question, kindly drop it for me at the comment section and I'm going to attend to it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.